Hello everyone, welcome back to Sean and Shiba. Today I want to talk about one very important word in Chinese politics, Dingxing, or characterization. Now in English, this might sound like just giving something a definition, but inside the communist system, Dingxing means something much heavier. It means the party decides the nature of an event, a movement, or even a person's life with one single label. And once that label is fixed, there is no debate, no appeal, no way out. What does it really mean? In a normal country, if there's a dispute, courts look at facts, evidence, and law. But in China, the courts follow the party. Judges are told directly the law must obey the party. So Dingxing is basically a political labeling. The leaders first decide the outcome, then create a story to justify it.
It's not what happened, it's what do we want people to believe happened. History full of labels. Let's look at a few examples. In 1957, hundreds of thousands of intellectuals were suddenly rightists simply because they criticized policies. Their lives were destroyed. During the Cultural Revolution, people were called capitalist roaders or reactionary scholars, and that label alone was enough to end careers or even lives. In Mitao, 1976, citizens mourning Premier Zhou Enlai were called counter-revolutionaries. In 1989, students asking for democracy were labeled rioters, which justified sending in tanks. In 1999, millions of Falun Gong practitioners were suddenly turned into members of an evil cult. And in 2019, Hong Kong protesters were labeled rioters and foreign puppets, no matter how diverse their demands actually were. The pattern is clear. Once the party fixes a label, reality doesn't matter anymore. How does this affect China today? The scary part is, this habit never disappeared. It still defines how society works right now. First, self-censorship. Nobody knows what might be labeled wrong tomorrow. So people stay quiet. It's safer to say nothing than risk everything. Second, insecurity. Your future depends not on what you do, but on how the party decides to label you. An entrepreneur can be praised today and investigated tomorrow. A celebrity can be popular one month and suddenly vanish the next. Third, no trust in the law. Everyone knows the courts are not neutral. They only rubber stamp political labels, so people stop believing in justice. The only safe strategy is loyalty and obedience. Fourth, no room for creativity. Writers, artists, even scientists avoid risk. Why innovate if your work might be labeled incorrect? It's safer to repeat the official line. That's why much of China's culture feels uniform and predictable. Ordinary life under labels. This culture doesn't only appear in big political events, it's everywhere. In workplaces, if you upset your boss, you can be accused of having the wrong attitude. In schools, teachers must stick to the script or risk being reported for wrong ideas. Even at home, parents warn kids, don't say too much. You never know who's listening. So people grow up learning silence and conformity. Speaking honestly feels dangerous, and repeating slogans feels like the only safe way to live. On the international stage. The same mindset is used outside China too. Instead of discussing issues, Beijing just throws labels. Criticism of Xinjiang, interference in internal affairs, support for Taiwan, provocation, questions about Huawei, unfair suppression. By labeling everything, they avoid real conversation, but it also pushes China further away from genuine dialogue with the world. Now, so why does this matter?
Friends, this culture of Dingxing is like an invisible cage. It doesn't just control politics, it shapes how people think, how they speak, and how safe they feel. It turns the law into a tool of fear, it punishes honesty and rewards silence. And it blocks China's potential, because no society can truly grow when creativity and truth are dangerous. Talking about this isn't just about history, it's about the present and the future. As long as the party can decide reality with one single label, no one in China is truly safe. If you found this discussion meaningful, please give the video a like, leave a comment, and share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into China's politics and society. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Sean and Shiba, ciao.